right now.
All right. I then started investigating the mind, and I ended up moving to Tucson, Arizona, and I ended up hosting and producing two TV shows down there. One of them was the Hidden Truths, and it got very political and much of the supernatural, UFOs, and just about anything outside of the box. We covered it.
Mhm.
And of course, now I'm doing a radio show with Nori Love and myself, and we are transmitting on 17 different platforms, three TV stations, and of course, YouTube and a lot of other places.
Wow. What are some of the subjects that you guys cover on your show?
Oh, the holographic universe is one of my favorite things to talk about, life after death, and well, I've covered a lot of the stuff on the Nazi flying saucers, what's on the moon, what's on Mars, and well, just about anything actually. Except
Do you think, except what?
I try to stay away from politics and the pandemic that's going
Right.
around. That I don't.
Do you think that we're getting close to full disclosure as far as UFOs go?
No, there never will be full disclosure. There will be a
Mm,
form of disclosure. I think it will start with the fact that, wow, we found worms on Mars. So now we know that there has been life there. But of course, we all know that it's all brown and dead up there. But of course, they're lying through their teeth again because now we got pictures coming back from Mars where you see blue sky. Can't have that without oxygen and water so in the air. But the disclosure that the government will give the people is going to be very skimpy. But on the
mm,
other hand, I think the extraterrestrial present may disclose themselves, and they may come out with some papers and government documents and stuff which already is there. I have a lot of them where the government explained that, yeah, we have these ships and we have these dead aliens, and like the little grays, they are closer to a plant than a human in physiology.
mm,
So it's all there, it's just that it's ignored by the public because the government
mm,
has not officially said, yes, they're here.
mm. Wow.
It's just a rash of stupidity that people can't think on their own.
Right. And that's a shame.
Yeah.
What are your feelings about the true creation reason for Space Force?
The reason for the Space Force.
Yeah, do you think it has to do with extraterrestrials or
Oh
space?
yeah, yeah. I think when they established the Space Force, I think there was a reason behind it. Was one that now we can start explaining some of the stuff that we have been doing for 40 years in the secret space program.
Hmm.
So now we can say, hey, we told you we have the Space Force. Look here, this is what we're doing on Mars and on the moon, and we're working fast, folks. Yeah. Now they can take the credit.
Well, oh, do you have any books out and that you have published?
Yeah, I do. I got one spiritual science, higher conscious thinking, and how to access the universal consciousness. And in there, I teach people how to use their mind in ways that you normally would think would be impossible.
So meditation is important
Yeah,
then,
that's
right?
just one small portion of it, but there is you can actually communicate with the universal mind, and there's ways to do that. You can also pave the road into the future so you can design your timeline into the future, and you can put good things in it, And when you go back and forth and visit those impressions that you have created in your mind, do that every day, and then you lay down a tractor strings to it. Get drawn up this line, and whatever you created in your mind, place it in the future at a time-coded event, and then go visit it every day. You get drawn up the timeline to it. So when that time-coded event show up, kind of like a Christmas party a year from now or something, then you just walk into it. Because the universe will get in the game with you and help you create it.
Wow.
And that's what we are doing on Sundays in the mastermind. Nori and I put together a very, very, gosh, I don't even know how to explain it. It's a mastermind with tremendous people in it. And we bend the laws of physics sometime in order to get what we ask for to happen.
Wow.
Like,
Is that
there's one example on that be kind of cute to mention, and that is that I think it was about a month and a half ago now, there were fires in Northern California.
right?
Yeah, there's a lot of it. And there was one lady, she texted me and she said that I'm afraid my house is going to burn because of the fires, and I'm taking my animals and going into town. It's probably safer there. And is there anything you can do with the mastermind for this? So I told her that, yeah, we'll do something tomorrow, which would be Sunday, when we do this. And we did. We wrapped our mastermind around her house, and the fires in Northern California. And that day, there were a few clouds in the sky. There were blue skies mostly, but there were a few clouds. And when we were done with the mastermind, an hour later, she called me and she said, "It is raining." It had not rained for just about 4 months. And actually, that wasn't even rain. There was a snow shower in early May.
Wow.
So the rain was created out of basically clear skies. And it got dark and thick and started raining within 1 hour. This is the kind of stuff we do. And for anybody that wants to join us and listen in and participate in something like this, send us an email and I'll get you some information so you can decide if you want to be part of something like this. Send us to themastermindconnection@gmail.com. That is themastermindconnection@gmail.com.
And I want to put out to listeners also, if they have any questions for you, Augie, they can call 724-602-2826, or they can Skype me at tim.roxbury1. That's 724-602-2826 if they have any questions for you, Augie.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I love questions.
What about healing? Do you guys work with healing?
Yes, we did. One example there, since you brought it up, I'm going to tell you. There were one of the members of the mastermind. He said when we got together on Sunday to do the mastermind session, he said, "My wife is in the hospital in a really bad way with COVID." They were going to start the remdesivir procedure and the ventilators the next day. And remdesivir, that's what kills you. So they were gonna start that the next day, and we wrapped our mastermind around her and where she was in the hospital. Actually, just a hospital bed. And we spent some time on that. And when we were done, I kind of made a flippant comment, I remember, saying, she'll be home tomorrow. I never really expected that. But the next day in the afternoon, my friend, her husband, called me and he said, my wife is home because the doctor said you recovered so fast. There's no reason for us to keep you anymore.
Wow.
This is what happens when you create a mastermind and you know how to communicate with the universal source of all things. Because when you get in the soup, the creative soup there, you can draw things from it into the physical and it becomes reality.
Yeah, my mom was just saying, she said, that's what I need for my bowel. I
Have her send me an
need
email and I'll get her some information.
Okay, yeah. I need it reconnected. I have a stoma right now and I've had it since August of last year. And the surgeon said that my heart's too weak. It's only and the heart function's only 25 to 30%, and which now I have a defibrillator implanted. I had it implanted about 2 weeks ago, and they said the colon surgeon said that my heart's too weak to reverse my stoma right now.
Hmm.
And I would really appreciate it if I can maybe get a healing session or something done that would allow that to happen.
Well, send us an email and I'll get you some information and come and visit on Sunday and we will see what we can do.
Okay, that would be awesome. You mean you physically come visit me?
No. We no, we do it on the mastermind. It's done on Zoom. Now
Okay,
we got anything from 25 to 50 people there that just we go in and we visualize a healthy heart.
okay.
And you'd be surprised what can happen.
If I can get my stoma reversed, that would be tremendous.
Yeah.
If my heart would get stronger, that'd be great too.
Well, that's probably the source of the problem, isn't it? The heart?
Yes.
Yeah, that's then you always want to heal the source.
Mhm.
When you heal a symptom, you haven't healed the source.
Right.
That just doesn't do it because if the source is still bad, then you're gonna get symptoms again.
Yep. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had my white blood cells were low. That's how it started. And
Mm-hmm.
then my I sat down on a toilet one day and I had a blowout. And then I went to the hospital and then found out that I had an infected tooth and got that actually got in my bloodstream and blew a hole out of my mitral valve and my aortic valve. And I had a brain infection. And then I had a stroke before when this all started.
Yeah.
While I was sitting in Butler Hospital waiting to go to Pittsburgh, I had a stroke because I was there for like 6 days, and then the last night I was there, my strokes occurred. So
Really?
yeah, I lost the ability to walk. I lost the ability to talk. I um I couldn't walk. I couldn't move my right arm, my right hand. I still have limited mobility in my right arm, but I can work my hand pretty well now.
Oh, bye. Oof.
Well, mom, and I had two aneurysms in February of this year. I had one in my stomach and then in my left leg.
Wow. That's not good.
Yeah, so I've been through the ringer since you and I last talked over here.
You didn't take the vaccine, did you?
No, I refuse to take the vaccine.
Yeah.
But I was tested though when I was in the hospital in December. I had to go to rehab, and
Okay. Well,
I was in
then you,
isolation for a while.
well, if they tested you up the nose, then you got the vaccine.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. That's how they do it.
Wow. And it was
Yeah.
weird because they said I was asymptomatic, which they claim is the reason why I didn't have no. I was a carrier, but I didn't have no symptoms, so they called it asymptomatic. So I don't know what. And they only
Mm.
gave me one test supposedly,
Yeah.
and he inserted the thing twice. So I don't know up my nose.
Yeah. Well, just send me that email and I'll get you some information. You can come and join us on Sunday, and we can do a healing on both you and your mom.
Okay, you want to say hi to mom?
Sure.
Okay, she has to get her teeth in, but she'll be over in a little bit, in a few minutes.
Yeah. But see, there's so many things that you learn how to do once you get out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of the box, trample it all to death, and burn it, and throw the ashes away so there's no chance of ever crawling back in that box again.
Is it possible for these things to be my health to be tied to a past life experience or a past life?
Oh, it's so hard to say. Yeah, possible, yes, but through epigenetics also, if you could have gene expressions from a grandfather that had the same condition. So
Right.
it could be transferred down through genetic expressions also, as well as probably even past life situations. I know we've done hypnosis session on that and find out people that is afraid of swimming in the water. They may have drowned in a previous lifetime, so they have that fear from that still in the auric field,
Mm.
which manifests itself in the genetics of the person.
Mm. Wow.
So it could come from many different places. Of course, then you doing the wrong thing, eating a lot of sugar and crap like that,
Mm.
get you sick too.
Yeah. Yeah. I had an ultrasound done on my left leg last week to see if my aneurysm was gone, to make sure it was gone.
Oh,
And the guy that took us down, the Uber driver that took us down to my appointment, said that he doesn't eat any red meat. He stays away from red meat. And he was taking what were those pills, Mom? Those veg, they were vegetable and fruit pills. And then he said he takes those every day,
mm,
and he stays away from red meat altogether.
yeah.
And then I asked him, I said, "Did you have lunch?" He says, "No, I actually got a jar of peanuts right here," and that's what that's what I had for lunch, and I'm still munching on them as he was
Yeah,
taking, bringing me home.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to stay on top of ourselves. It's this body. That's our castle, and that's where we live right now. So if we don't have this body, where are we going to live?
Right. Got to take care of that body, that temple.
Yeah, we get kicked out, and then we got to go back and start over again.
Mhm.
But that that's other things that is also wonders. Like if we get kicked out, if we don't have this body anymore, then what happens?
Right.
Yeah.
I know
Where,
my dad, I
where do
lost.
we,
Yeah,
where do we go then?
exactly.
Yeah.
And my neighbor drinks a lot of pop. I said, soda pop. I'm like, you're diabetic. I'm thinking to myself, he's diabetic. He shouldn't really be drinking that because that could potentially ruin his
Yeah.
liver. You know, that's what happened to my dad.
Yeah.
And the sweeteners too. Yeah, that's not good. Sugar, sweeteners, whatever. Yeah.
Well, that pop that fuels it. So he's not going to get rid of that one very soon.
Nope.
Yeah.
What's that, Mom? Yeah, sweeteners are bad for you, I guess. We
Yeah.
can say.
Hmm. Well, the thing is that when the body is not serving us anymore, we're gonna get rid of it. It's
Hmm.
going to quit working to the point where nothing will work, and then it just will drop it.
Yeah.
Then what happens? Well, we're going somewhere, but where do we go? If you ask a Christian, they say, well, if you've been a good boy, you're upstairs, and if you haven't, then you're going to go to the other place downstairs in the basement, next to a furnace, right?
Mhm.
So, well, maybe it isn't quite that way.
Right.
I just happen to know a guy. He was a sniper for the United States Army in Vietnam.
Hmm.
And he had, I think he said 20 or 21 registered kills where he
Wow.
shot somebody with cold blood. And he was totally convinced when he got back, I'm going to hell. I murdered people.
Hmm.
And then he had a near death experience where he was taken somewhere and it was full of love. There was beautiful, wonderful, tall buildings. The people were walking around with him. They had white robes on, and they were talking to him, explaining about this new existence that he had gotten in, and he felt totally full of love. There were no negatives at all. And then the doctors, they kept working on him, so he snapped back into his body again on the operating table, and they got him back. Well, he changed his mind. He decided he wasn't going to hell anymore because hell really doesn't exist
Hmm.
except outside of our mind. We create a place like that if we believe it strongly enough, most of the time. Evidently, for him, it didn't work that way. There were other plans laid for him from the other side. So now he's out there talking about this and educating people on the fact that just because you did something stupid in the past don't mean you're going to hell.
Hmm.
Though, if you want to go there, you sure can, but you can also think yourself out of there when you realize that I don't have to be here. And then there's some mental things you can do, like ask for forgiveness. Forgiveness, that done the right way, it can actually do away with karma.
Mm.
So, whatever you've done in the past that you find yourself in a place not all that positive, you can think yourself out of there, asking for forgiveness for what you've done and other people allowed, helped you to do, or whatever it was. Then you can think yourself out of there and you get to a more positive place. So, there's so many different realms out there, and even Albert, no, Stephen Hawking, he said that he found at least 9 different realms or realities or dimensions. But he also said, if I extend the equation, I will probably find more.
Wow.
So if you extend the equation with no end to it, you may have an endless amount of dimensions out there where there are people, there are entities, there are stuff going on in there that we're not able to see.
Hmm.
Some of it can be in the same location we are right now, just at a different frequency level, out of that short, very short and narrow frequency band that our eyes can see things. We
Wow.
know that there are, if you have an infrared camera, you can see entities, you can see stuff. And if you have a fourth generation, oh, actually, this is pretty good because a fourth generation night vision goggles was introduced over in the Middle East when Bush went on this money making adventure over there. And they gave it to the soldiers, and the soldiers came back and complained about this. when we have these fourth generation night vision goggles on, we see people.
Mm.
Take them on, they're not there anymore. They scared the crap out of them. So they withdrew the night vision goggles and left it with the officers only. So with the fourth generation, you can see a little bit higher into the light spectrum than we can do with our eyes. And when we do that, we can see the people in that dimensional existence. That's why they are banned in many countries. In England, you cannot buy the fourth generation.
Mm.
Many countries, they ban them. They're still okay here. And if you get your hands on a fourth generation, some third generation even, go out at night, point them into the sky, you can see crafts flying back and forth. You see the big triangular ones, you see the cigars, you see the round ones, see oddball looking things going across the sky. These are all alien spacecraft in our environment, but just out of our frequency range that our eyes can see.
Mom, you have a question for Augie?
I said, yeah, where do you get a set of those?
What's
Where
that?
where do you get a set of those goggles?
Go to the internet and put in fourth generation night vision goggles, and you'll see there's many different versions of it. You just have one of them only had one. It's not a binocular; it's a monocle, and then you have some that has a wraparound. Some of them are more expensive than others, but they are very interesting. I don't have one, but it would be fun to have.
So they're legal then.
Yeah, they're legal here. We can have them here. In England and some other countries, you can't. Australia, you can't have them because they don't want people to know that there is other people out there that you can't see.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Would you be able to use an old, a high 8 Sony high 8 camcorder for that too as well, or not?
Use what?
An old Sony high 8 infrared camcorder. Would those work too for that?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Mm.
I think there's Sony that makes a tape recorder that is able to record voices from spirits.
Yeah.
And I don't know the model name on it, but I know they don't make them anymore.
Yeah.
But those that are out there, they are very expensive. You can find them on the internet. You may have to pay as much as $800 to $1,500 for a little piece that you could buy for $30, 20 years ago.
Right. I still have some of the old, infrared um Sony camcorders
Ah,
from the 80s. I still have some of those.
yeah.
I bought them on eBay. I got like, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them.
Wow.
when I investigated, paranormal investigated.
Were you able to see stuff?
Yeah, I actually got a, full body operations with them. And I have a digital camera that has infrared filters. And I caught an operation with that too as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I,
Yeah.
I have a question.
I mean, you have to talk in the microphone.
Um, how do I want to say it? Like these murders, like they killed, like that guy that killed all those Jewish people in Pittsburgh. Um, what would his punishment be then? Where will he go when he dies?
I don't know. I don't think there is much of a difference. There are people that have done a lot of goofy things in the past. They may be held back a little bit. It all depending on the vibration of your mind, your conscious evolution. If people are just running around thinking about drugs and crime all the time, well, when they drop the body, they might end up in a place where there is a little more education on that stuff, maybe slightly above where they were. I'm just theorizing on that.
Mhm.
But for people that has stepped out of the box and gone after a little spiritual enlightenment, I don't worry about those at all. They're going to be all right. Yeah.
It's hard to believe that somebody that would kill so many people, like that, and they wouldn't be punished though.
No, there is no such thing as punishment. There is only rewards. If you've done good things, you will have good rewards. If you have done really lousy things, you may not like all the rewards.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's all a school here. But then we have ghosts. And some of those ghosts has been around for hundreds of years. Go to, let's say, on the East Coast where they had the battles of the Revolutionary War and all that. There were hundreds of people that were killed in certain locations. To this day, there are some of them that is still walking around with a rifle on their shoulder because there's pictures of them.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, what happened to those people? Shouldn't they go home to heaven or to the other place? But they're just hanging
Yep.
out. That is what I have found as an astral traveler is a lot of atheists that have no clue of anything spiritual. Once they drop the body, they start looking around and say, wow, boy, was I wrong.
Mhm.
Now what do I do? If nobody comes to get them, they, they get stuck there. They just don't know what to do. So they just keep doing what they've done before, only that nobody can see them.
See.
So,
That's,
so it is possible for spirits to get stuck.
oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what ghosts are. They just haven't gone home yet.
Mhm.
In fact, I have a really story about that while I was still back in Europe. There's a huge cathedral in this town, Trondheim, and very, very big, huge cathedral. And there are people, rumors say that the place is haunted. Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
Mhm.
So there was somebody that made a bet with me and another guy that you don't have the guts to stay there overnight. And we took him up on the bet. So we went into the cathedral like in the evening, and I think there was 8 o'clock at night. They lock all the doors, and so people can't get in, and because kind of closed business, I guess. We went in there a little earlier, and we walked up into where they had the music station in the back, one of them, and we hid.
Mhm.
So they locked the doors, and we were locked inside. And we were sitting there, and nothing. It was in the summer, so it was, well, it did get dark at night, but not really dark. And we were sitting up there, and then we started hearing noises. We heard people singing.
Mhm.
And we also at one point heard there was somebody that was just wailing, screaming at the same time that it it sounded like chains were being dragged across the floor up the central hallway where all the stuff was on the side, the bleachers. And yeah, I didn't have long hair back then, but whatever there was, I bet stood straight up.
Yeah, it made you get long hair, huh?
Yeah, that was scary.
Wow.
And we didn't move. We just stayed up there on the second floor in the back where they had the organ up there.
Uh-huh.
And when they came in the morning and opened up the doors, we waited until there were some more people around, and we got down and got out of there. And well, we told the story afterwards, and the guy that made the bet with us, he never paid anyway. I remember that. So yeah, there is people that get stuck. And this particular cathedral was built in right about the year 1200. So, the Catholic Church, they did unspeakable things to people from, during that time and quite a ways after. So that's probably where the chain comes in, dragging the chain up the cathedral floor. They executed people in the church.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't know that.
The Catholics were ruthless, and they just do it different now.
Mhm.
It almost seems like Catholics are the ones that have all these demonic or negative experiences with the supernatural. Why?
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
Sometimes I wonder why that is.
Oh, it's long tradition on their part.
Mm.
They they've gotten away with it until now, and I think they still believe they can.
Hmm.
They remember the three Fatima's secret. The Catholic, when Fatima was this woman over in Spain that saw Mother Mary in the sky. Remember that story?
Yeah.
There were three secrets. The third secret has never been revealed. But
Yeah, I remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was a Catholic priest that had seen it, and he wrote a book about it. In fact, I interviewed him in Tucson here about 20 years ago. And he said the third secret is that the Catholic Church will become the Antichrist,
Wow.
which we know it is, but the masses don't know it yet.
Mm.
See.
That's probably why they experience so much supernatural and demonic
Yeah,
experiences.
could have something to do with it.
Wow, I never thought of that, but yeah, that could be why.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So, Augie, is there anything else that you'd like to cover tonight? We got about a half hour to go. Is there anything else that you'd like to?
Okay, well, we let's see. I'm gonna show you. Here we go. This is the book. Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness. This is the one where I teach people how to use their minds in ways that you normally would think would be impossible. You can tap into the universal source, you can draw on it, and you can design your life. The only wild card is that if you expect something to happen tomorrow at 15 in the afternoon, it may not happen then. It could take you a month or a year, because the universal mind does not understand our time very well, because at the universal mind source, time does not exist as we know it. So we have to create time-coded events around stuff that we want to happen. If we use a calendar, all bets are off. Calendars are worthless to the universe. That's man-made by us. So
Mhm.
if we say next year's Christmas party, we're standing around and we are toasting what we created. Now the universe know how to deal with it. So, aha, Christmas party next year. Yeah, I'll be there. So they will
Mhm.
arrange for things to happen. But there is a language to the universal mind. It's not English or Bulgarian or Norwegian, not even that. It is a language of emotion, intention, colorful images, mental images, gratitude for already having it right now, and love.
Hmm.
Those are the
Interesting.
facets of the universal language that the universal mind understands and responds to.
Hmm.
If you don't use that, all bets are off. That's why most people's prayers they never happen.
Hmm.
Hardly ever. Though it can, because when you pray, nobody taught people how to pray because they don't want people to know how.
Right.
When you pray, it is the mental images and the emotion and the love that goes with it that makes the connection that can bring something from the universal mind or from God if you want. So that's how you get things done in prayer.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's probably all I had to say, but send us an email and then we'll get you hooked up so you can come and participate.
Yeah, that sounds
That'd
good.
be great. So, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about, maybe in your book that you'd like to cover?
Oh, I don't know. That's maybe that's for another show, but in the back of it, we have one of those chapters in the back. I deal with time travel. And I think I'm the only one that I know of, except for one other guy, that has evidence in pictures of time travel.
Hmm.
And that gets it gets very interesting because I explain how you can do it.
What about losing time? People that experience
Oh,
losing
yeah.
time.
Time slippage
Yeah, it's not.
it's more common than we think.
Mhm.
And that could be several reasons, of course, but one of them is that you could have had an extraterrestrial experience where you were abducted, you were brought somewhere and then brought back, but they didn't bring you back to the exact same time. They brought you back a little later, but not quite as far as it should be. Or they brought you back at the same time, but your clock kept running. So you say, wait a minute, it's I lost 2 hours and 15 minutes. Where did that go? So there's goofy things that happen. Or it could be that you had a slippage within the time stream. That could also happen.
Mhm. I interviewed a pilot last year, I think it was, where he had slipped into the Bermuda Triangle and returned to Florida a lot shorter span than what he was expected
Yeah.
to.
Things happen, goofy things happen in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, it was even fortunate that he even returned because there's so many stories out there that pilots disappear, the ships and boats disappear when they're in that reality.
Yep.
And he was pretty fortunate to reappear, but it was much quicker than what he realized.
Yep. It can happen.
Mhm.
It can happen. But
Do you believe that there's some sort of Einstein-Rosen bridge or portal that these craft go into?
I think there's maybe two different reasons for that. It's because in that area, that was a lot of the activities of the Atlantis
Mm-hmm.
islands chain, and they had these crystals, the energy crystals, and which gave them the free energy. And these crystals, I mean, these are large crystals that is longer than me, and they charged them. They had them wired, and they charged them, and they put them in a chamber that has a specific distance from the crystal in order to funnel energy. So it's very likely that something could fly through that area like an airplane and get affected by this and get a slippage in time from being in that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Or there is underwater alien bases in the Bermuda Triangle.
Wow.
So we don't know what causes it beyond that, but that's just my two thoughts on it.
Wow.
Ask him if we can have a portal in our front.
Yeah, Mom and I experienced a lot of weird things in front of our house. One day we had 3 doves fly through the porch,
Mm-hmm.
and then another time we had last summer we had those birds that were swinging on the
They were swinging
on the plant hanger, and
and they were chirping.
they were chirping and singing for like 15 minutes. There was a
flying
pair of
back
them.
and forth.
Yeah, they were swinging back and forth. Yeah, and they were singing, and they just stayed around for like 15 minutes.
Wow.
It was
They had
like watching.
dragonflies.
Yeah, it was like watching your your pet birds in your house was swinging and talking and singing and carrying on.
Were they in the house?
They were outside on the
Oh.
porch. Wow, these were wild
Yeah.
birds. There was a pair of them, and then we've had dragonflies, and one time we had three doves fly through the porch while she was outside.
Wow. Yeah, they can show up in many different ways.
And we've had dragonflies show up for no apparent reason and kind of like hang around, hover around us for like 15, 20 minutes.
And they fly around the car.
Yeah, they flew around us in the parking lot, flew around the car.
Mhm.
It was incredible. And then I told my cousin he died of cancer. I told him, I said, when you go, could you give me some signs? Some signs that you're still with us. And he said, when I go, I will. I definitely will. And ever since then, we've been having those experiences here at the house.
Huh.
And a couple of weeks ago, I had my defibrillator put in, and they stopped my heart for like 15 seconds to make sure that the defibrillator was working. And I saw my cousin in those 15 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Where were your cousin?
He had passed away from cancer.
Okay.
And it would have been the 50th anniversary of his death. It was right around his birthday. I saw him.
Well, that happened.
Oh, it was his death. Yeah, like 3 days before his death, the anniversary of his passing. Yeah.
Yep.
And my surgeon was like, "Really?" I just said, "I never heard that before."
Yeah. Well, if he did, he wouldn't talk about it anyway.
Right. That's for
Yeah.
sure. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
I'm sure he's heard that before. Yeah.
he's a heart doctor.
Yeah, because he's a
Mhm.
heart doctor.
Well, I guess we covered a lot of stuff, and maybe there's other stuff that could be covered some other time.
Great.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking to you. I've always enjoyed talking to you, Augie.
Yeah, I
Where's
did
this
too.
from? Australia?
Yeah.
So it's been great
Yeah,
talking
just
to you,
send
Augie.
me a link, and then I'll spread it out for you.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely send you I could send you a copy of the show today too. I've been recording it since we started
Okay.
it.
Are you on YouTube?
Yeah, we're on YouTube right now and Facebook
Okay.
and
Yeah, send me the YouTube link. That'll be better.
okay, I can do
Yeah.
that. All right, Augie, it's been great
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yeah, nice meeting you,
Right.
Robbie.
Mom said nice meeting you.
In the words of Spock, live long and prosper.
All right, Augie. Thank you so
Okay, you take care.
All right.
Okay.
Good
Talk
night.
to you again.
Bye bye.